I just, like you were talking about when you're sitting in God's presence that you feel made. And then Stephanie Gertzinger was saying that when she sits in his presence, like, she feels undone. And she talked to him about it, and he said, it's not that you feel, it's not that you're undone, it's that you're becoming undone. Like, it's the undoing, and by the time you are completely undone, then we're face to face, and you're all finished and perfect. And you're saying, I don't feel like I'm being undone, I feel like I'm being made into something new. And I think they're both right, because when you're born into this world, you're immediately educated by the media and by the people you come into contact with. And I think that the experience of being in this world is making us into something that we were never intended to become. You know, God knows all. He knows the experiences we're going to be going through. But what he's undoing and unraveling is that the veil and the lies that we start to believe. And then he's simultaneously remaking us.
Remaking and undoing.
Yeah.
You know what it's like? That's like the blog about
Shameless
Mender.
plug.
Mender. We'll probably your therapist. No, but Mender, right? He's like, as I'm undoing you, I'm mending you simultaneously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's right. They are both true.
Well, I mean, you know that song, "Fill Me Up."
Mm-hmm.
So people are saying, like, "Fill me up, God, fill me up," and I'm always catch myself and I'm saying, "Break me down, God, build me up," and I sing that to myself over and over, because I know those times when we feel that He's putting us through a lot, taking us through a lot, that it, like Paul says, like, you rejoice in the trial because you're gaining perseverance, and it's like, that's part of the forging process. It's, you got to go through tough stuff to become a tougher person. You have to go through diverse trials in order to become a more well-rounded human. And he doesn't ever leave you broken by whatever you've been through. He just is breaking off the pieces that can't stay. When you go through a tough experience, the only thing that's tough about it is the reaction of those pieces of you that aren't right anyway. Like, if your judgment comes out, or your other pieces of you that feel offended by what's happening, or the parts of you that get hurt. It's like, those are just the pieces of you that are not of God anyway.
But you have to be willing to...
Because He would never feel that way, right?
You got to be willing to subject yourself to the undoing and the remaking, right? Like I had a thought.
Yeah.
I had a thought the other day, or this morning, that if I had not done and made the decision to follow God 2 years ago and do mixed life, I wouldn't have a healthy reverence and fear of not God, but of losing His presence. But in developing that fear, or that reverence for Him, I had to subject myself to being broken down and built back up again. And you remain on this process of just trying to, like, just have the same heartbeat. You know, it's like I'd be walking, and I would like put my foot down, and I'm like, oh, is that my footstep, or did God make that already for me? Can I put my foot in it? Like, am I making that footprint? Like, is it already laid out? It was just like this, not wanting to misstep, not wanting to, like, not be aligned.
Uh-huh.
But in realizing that, I had to understand the importance of going through that forging process, which is painful.
Yeah. It can be, but like I was saying, like, the only part of you that's experiencing the pain is the part of you that's not going to be staying.
I know, but I'm saying, like it's like people. It's easy to say. I feel like I should sit with you. It's easy to say, well, okay, God wants to break you down, right? And let's say like someone doesn't have the knowledge of what that means. God wants to shake up your life. And you're like, yes, God, oceans, take me into the deep, until the waters I'm drowning, and deep calls out to deep, and Lord, like, yes, do all these things. And it's like, that's an interesting prayer. Because it is hard and it hurts, and sometimes you feel like you're by yourself, and sometimes he's quiet, and sometimes he's like, really exposing things to you, and sometimes he's like, and in that undoing or being made or mending, it's, I don't know, it's hard, but it's worth it. But you don't know it's worth it until you experience that it's hard. You have to come out of it to know that it was worth something.